Thank you for the applause in advance. I am Saar, and this is Liesbet. And we are from the Cycling Embassy of Ghent, Belgium. The Cycling Embassy, I don't know if you hear the noise. This is better, maybe. Yeah. Okay. The Cycling Embassy of Ghent promotes cycling culture through service. So we do a lot of different things. I won't go in this very deeply because then we're way out of time. But we do. We have bike rentals for students. We maintain the bike parking in Ghent. We have 4 different repair hubs for bikes. We give bike lessons to adults. A lot of adults in Ghent still need to know how to drive a bike. But we're here to talk about the taxi service. So we created a bike taxi service for people with reduced mobility. We call it a social taxi service. It's very important because we want our volunteers to have time. It's the same as Cycling Without Age, all the different chapters, to have time to help our passengers while they're doing groceries, for example, when we drive them to a doctor appointment to wait until they're finished and then drive them back home, or even have a coffee afterwards as well. How did we get here? Because it was a long time until we are here. So in 2018, almost literally from our couch, we got the idea. We knew the city of Ghent had 3 rickshaws, and they didn't do a lot with it. So we wanted to do something with this. So we started to talk with all different stakeholders in the city, and we were all set to do a pilot project, but then, this ugly creature came along, so we had to postpone until 2021. And then we did 6 months of a pilot project. We were all volunteers, just driving the rickshaws and doing rides from point A to point B. So getting people out of their house to do groceries, to go to the doctor, all these kind of things in the city of Ghent. After this, the city of Ghent, and we as well, found that it was a success. There was really a need for people with reduced mobility to get out of their house. Also because the city of Ghent is almost car-free zone, so it's very difficult for people with reduced mobility to get out of their house. Even a tram station is too far to get there on their own. So we started talking, and then the city of Ghent decided that we could be part of the Cycling Embassy of Ghent. So that's a bit our history, where we are right now. In May 2022, we started under the wings of the Cycling Embassy, and we get funding from the city of Ghent, from the local government, and also from European Union. It's an Interreg program called SMAL. It's a shared mobility for all. So it's a different kind of pilot project, and we are one of the pilots. And the province East Flanders of Belgium funds us as well. We got funding until the end of 2025. What will happen afterwards? We hope we will still exist after 2025, but we have to see what will happen. We have 7 bikes, so 3 Christianias, 3 Trio bikes, 1 Nihola, and 1 Van Raam wheelchair bike. And now it's your turn, I think. No? Not yet? Okay, not yet. Okay, I still have to talk. No. As I said before, all our passengers are people with reduced mobility. When we started our first pilots in 2021, our target group was mainly elderly. But then it expanded. So now we are, for example, driving people with visual impairment, or people with psychological problems who are able physically to get there, but not mentally. And also, we drive people with temporary less mobility. For example, if you break your leg and you come to Ghent, we are happy to drive you. Even sometimes, I don't know if you know this man, we have very special guests in our, he is old, so he is one of our target groups as well. So we mainly do functional rides, so from point A to point B, and the three main purposes of these functional rides are healthcare. We drive a lot of people to doctor appointments, to hospitals, things like that. We have a lot of rides, leisure rides, leisure, you know what I am talking about. And also shopping, like people getting to have meals and things like that. So that is, now it's your turn, right? Yeah.
Okay, so I take over from here. So our pilots are, of course, all volunteers, and we have a big mix of all kind of people. For example, we have Janneke. She's a woman who is retired. We have biggest part, actually, of our volunteers are retired people who have a lot of free time and want to do something meaningful in their free time. Janneke, she made actually she designed the rain cover that you can put in front of the bike, so people are really covered from the rain. It's a big success, and everyone is really thankful for that. We also have a lot of young people, either they work part-time, have some extra free time, or people with burnouts who cannot follow the fast rhythm of the society at the moment, want to do something with their time. Or people in a sabbatical year, or all kinds of stuff. And what actually we are also proud of, we have 30% of our volunteers are newcomers. We also want to focus on that. And so, yeah, we think Ali is quite new, but he rides independently already many rides by now. And we also think this is a very nice part of our project. We try to organize activities every 4 to 6 weeks to bring them together, because when they ride, mostly they ride alone by themselves. But we like to bring the volunteers together for a drink in the park, for a barbecue, even a guided tour in our nice city of Ghent. So we hope to create a little bit of a community. People can exchange their thoughts, their ideas about the rides, about the people, everything that happens on the streets. So we feel that they really like this a lot, and it's always a big success. Sometimes we also take the opportunity to explain again how the wheelchair bike works, because this needs some extra attention. So always nice moments together. This is a little bit an idea about our mission. So on the side of the passengers, we try to counteract the isolation of the less mobile individuals by bringing them out as much as we can. For the volunteers, and more specifically for the newcomers, we hope to lower the integration barriers for them. By riding the bikes, they get to know the city better, they get to know new people, local people, and they practice their Dutch. So it's all important for their social integration. And by the project, we bring communities and cultures together that in normal life maybe are not so much in touch with each other. And we hope maybe that some prejudgments that exist among them can disappear a little bit. So all about social integration. So I think our passengers and our pilots will live longer, as we heard this morning. So this is a very good thing. A few numbers, yes. So we started off in April on the Blue Lines 21 with only 35 rides. Then the orange lines in 22, you can see already that the numbers get higher, and especially in September, October, we did a lot of rides, and this was specifically for the vaccination center that was opened then. So you see the high orange peak there. And then 23, our first whole year. In the winter, we had more than 200 rides. In summer, more than 600 rides per month. And if you see now the yellow lines in the beginning of this year, they're already double of the numbers of last year. So we think that this summer will be an explosion of rides. So it will be a great summer. So last year we had in total 5,800 rides with about 70 volunteers. And the average distance was 2.1 kilometers. I also wanted to show those two rings, those two graphs. It's the portion of the functional and the fun rides. So the blue is the functional rides. So actually it's 98% we do functional rides. So it's really nice to see that people count on us for their daily activities. So that's the biggest purpose of our project actually. So that was about it. So thank you very much. Here you can see some quotes of our volunteers and some from the passengers. So thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Liesbet and Saar. I think it's very, very, very interesting what you're doing, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of questions out here. While we're just changing over to Soizic, Oline told me that there were some questions about getting to the cinema later on. So the idea is that we all make it to the cinema ourselves, whatever means of transport we can find, whether it's walking or hiking, or you don't do hiking. Well, you can catch a hike with me in the Trishaw. Or you're cycling, or you can take the harbor bus. I think some people wanted to take the harbor bus, or other types of public transportation. So there's many ways to get in there. If you walk, it's going to be about half an hour. So it can be done by walking as well. And then later on as well, to get out to Reffen, where we're going to have dinner, we're going to be sort of split up a little bit because it's full of stalls. So it's not a place where we all sit down. So you can sort of take it at your own pace to get out there and find the best means of transport. But come and ask us if you have any questions. And now we have Soizic is being mic'd up. And I really look forward to this one as well, to get some insights from Paris and soon Brittany, right? Okay. Thank you, Soizic.
Okay. So I used to be from Paris area in Boulogne-Billancourt. I think I was about the 6th or 7th chapter in France to open in year 2018, thanks to Pernier, who just opened the chapter in Singapore, and I have a son living in Singapore. Okay, so that was for the story. Okay, so the slide of this presentation is aging in place. And before beginning, I found interesting to get some information about aging. And that's nice because we didn't talk that much about that this morning. It has become a world cause. The United Nations had made the decade 2021-2030 the decade of aging in good health. And why is it so important? The elders' population is increasing dramatically, mainly in developed countries. And the United Nations estimates that the population of people aged 65 and over will double before the year 2050. In France, there are 68 million inhabitants. Almost 25% of them are over 65. More than 6 million are over 75, and 2.3 million about 85. In comparison, in the world, there are 8 billion inhabitants, and among them, it's 10% over 65. In Europe, over 65, the average is 20%. It's 10%, I'm sorry. And in France, we are 25. So we can see even in the same area, like in Europe, there is a big difference between all the countries. Perhaps you will give some more later. The consequences are mainly socio-economic, creating new balances countries have to face. Conventional thinking dictates that people aging will conduct to loss of autonomy. But a lot of studies just show that the loss is contained, thanks, among other things, to medical progresses and prevention. and prevention and accompaniment of common disorders are levers to allow to limit loss of autonomy. And we can notice that thanks to CWA, when we see the changes in the elders we take for a ride, and taking out people is just part of a whole thing. We had a very good intervention this morning about that, facing people, looking at them, touching them, and there's a lot of things around that. Once the elders are outside, they start talking, they say hello to people we meet. So many smiles on their face, so many questions. And to climb on the trishaw, they need some exercise also. Brain, face muscles, legs muscles, going for a ride is such an activity. And for them, it's a sport. During COVID, the only things we could do for people, elder people, was walking. But that was our sport. We were not supposed to ride and to run. It was too difficult for us. And we can notice also the psychological condition is improved. But how can we age in place? Who is taking care of the elders? The family, I think the family is the first caregiver for the elders, but not always living close. It's hard for them to intervene. In France, 10% only of elders with loss of autonomy stay with their family. And among seniors over 85 years old, 25 lived in nursing home. When aging at home, you are bothered by a lot of tiny things from the everyday life. You cannot do as easily as before, and it takes so much more time. You need some help. You have daycare helpers, but about going out, volunteers are there to help. But why do you become a volunteer? For social commitment, to express some interest to a cause, to improve things, to help people, to try to participate to the welfare of the community. It can be also for personal reasons, like self-esteem, to meet new people, to be your own boss for the schedule, to feel in better shape, to be part of a wonderful team. And again, when you become a volunteer for CWA, you check all the boxes, social commitment and personal purposes. But sometimes it's hard to find volunteers to ride a trishaw when it comes to take care of elders staying at home. Is there a little apprehensive, being afraid of people in too much demand, being afraid of not being able to do things right compared to elders from a senior home? And I encountered that problem when I moved to Brittany. I could not find a volunteer to do what I did for a few years. And as always told this morning, there is a point for volunteers. We have to be very careful about ourselves. We are volunteers, but we must keep in good health. And I almost reached, as you, burnout. So you have to be very conscious of that. C'est quoi? No. Yes. I met the senior I will talk about before COVID. They were members of an association acting for senior citizens in my city, gathering them once a week for singing, storytelling, and a snack. I was asked to come to introduce CWA to those seniors, so they could be interested by a riding session along the river to go to Paris and see very nice things. But some were interested by the ride to a park, but most of them could not walk for a long distance and were asking for shopping or going to the doctor. At that time, I said no, because the French board told the chapters to go just for leisure rides, not shopping, no doctor. Then COVID arrived. The city hall, who offers the first trishaw at the chapter, asked if we could go to the supermarket for seniors just to buy things to eat, just to eat the food, for seniors staying at home, as nobody was supposed to go out. And for 2 months, about 2 or 3 times a week, I went to buy food for the elders and bring it back to their home. I thought this will go on after COVID, but no. Things came back to normal, as we'll say. The elders had to manage with their helpers for their private food. So at the end of COVID, when we were asked to go to doctor appointment or shopping, I said yes. But I was the only one to do it. The other people was a little bit afraid, so I could not find any other volunteer to do it. So I think it's also interfere in the personal environment. It's not on a regular schedule, and you need more time, so perhaps that was part of it. So now I will tell you about those people I met. Hélène, 97 years old. So when I come to Paris, back from Brittany, I stay with her, I sleep at her place. She offered me a mattress on the floor, and I can sleep and stay with her, which is quite nice. I met her 5 years ago. She was sad, complaining about everything. Her granddaughter is living very close, but never managed to think for her grandma. She needs to go periodically to the doctor and could not figure out how to go because she could not walk for long distance and to get the bus. I proposed her the trishaw. After some hesitations, she said yes. And since then, she goes to appointments with me with a trishaw. Quite often say she is very proud of being sitting on the trishaw. I wait with her in the waiting room, so we can talk, we can share things, so that's nice. Well, perhaps better outside, but we're just in the waiting room. She even asked sometimes to go for some shopping, and she enjoyed it a lot and became smiley. So she solved a moving problem and makes her very much happy. Christian, 90 years old. Since I met her 5 years ago, she has always been very energetic, but she had problems walking a long distance. She asked if I could take her to the hairdresser, the doctor, or sometimes to a store. The answer again was yes. She loves the rides in trishaw. And last summer, we had a long weekend with another association. She sat on the trishaw for 3 days. And she rides every month the trishaw for a ride of 20 kilometers in Boulogne and Paris with another association, the Wheelers and the Wheelchairs, which is an association of wheelers on wheelers. And wheelchairs, it's wheelers pushing people in wheelchairs, thank you. Okay. And it's very interesting. Renée, 85 years old. When she heard about CWA, she asked me if I could ride her to the swimming pool because one of her friends going also to the pool was not driving anymore. I said yes. And every week I drove her with a trishaw. From time to time, she has to stop in a store. She was so much enthusiastic. She was quite depressed. She committed suicide once. But after each ride, she was very smiley and said she got some energy for the coming week. She knows there was a listening here. Our experience at CWA shows that our elders like very well going out on trishaw, whether it is people living in nursing home or aging in their own home. The elders enjoy being outside. The volunteers are proud to see the smiling face and the progress, psychological and physical, of the passenger. As all notice us while preparing this talk, aging in place is very important for the future of CWA. We will see in other groups how we can interact with other associations or groups, how we can do better to help our elders living at home so that they can finish their life as happy and as healthy as possible. Okay. So, how do I do that? Okay, do it. I don't want to.
There it is.
Hello, vítajte. As Ole said, I'm from Cyklokoalitia in Slovak, or Cycling Coalition in English. We are NGO with focus to cycling infrastructure, sustainable mobility, advocacy, activity, and all relating things with that. Our recent, I think, big success is to that we have removed cars from the pedestrian way. Till last September in Slovakia, you could legally park your car on the pedestrian way if you leave some spaces for walking. Right now, it's legal, and it was we were last country in European Union, so we are happy. The law is right now taking place. Besides this, we also started in 2016 with Cycling Without Age. The first reshow came in that year. 2 years ago, another one. And yeah, we started as, let's say, punk level, all on voluntary for registering of volunteers. We used spreadsheets. Right now, after COVID, which I think everything was destroyed, we start again. Now we have a paid coordinator, that's me, and till now we have 7 reshows in Slovakia, 3 in Bratislava. These are in chapters and are covered and supported directly by our organization and other cities, Trnava, Dolný Kubín, Ružomberok, Poprad. We are in touch and basically provide support all they need. And the last year we implemented book-to-go reservation systems, and I can say it was a game changer for us. And yeah, right now we have the system in I think in all the chapters. What was a barrier for the chapters was the language, because not every social worker, receptionist, even employee knows English. So we decided to translate to the Slovak. So right now I'm happy that besides these 5 languages, you can find the Slovak. So yeah, that helped us a lot. And what we did last year, we made Slovak subtitles to a beautiful document, The Great Escape. Maybe many of you have seen it. And also record the Slovak language. We have a dubbing for this document, and it's a nice introduction for the clients who know nothing about the project. Because I can explain to him how beautiful, how excited the ride on the tree show is, but when they see the people, let's say with the same age, explain and share their emotion, their feelings, it's, I think, for us the best experience to introduce the project. And we have a success with this. We do screening in some chapters every year for new incomers, for new clients, and also for the volunteers. We have some free screening. 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, we had one tree shows for a couple of weeks in one elderly home, and they record a short video on the phone, and that's me, and add some music and posted it to the Facebook. Last days there was more than 2,000 likes, almost 500 shares, and almost 100,000 views. And after this time, we have received many emails, many phone calls that other elderly homes want to be part of us and cooperate with our organization. So yeah, that was quite success, and I think the best promo we can ever have. And also the company started contacted us and provide some company volunteers. And on this Tuesday, I had a call from another company, and there is a very high chance we can have another 3 show financed by them. So yeah, thanks for the support. Yeah, that's it. That's company volunteer I'm talking about. This is the picture from the event last year, and the event is also happens this day. Is the biggest event for volunteers on the Slovakia. It's happening in basically every bigger city, and the company provides their employees to NGOs, to schools, to whatever need any help, and yeah, renovating benches, help with necessaries, and we also are part of it. And today we had some also rights, and yeah, just colleague sent me a message. It was also success. So yeah. So yeah, as I said, we had some focus also to bike infrastructure and sustainable mobility, and thanks to that, I can take my own grandma from elderly home where she lives to the center of Bratislava only on the bike lane, no between the cars. So yeah, we can say that if the infrastructure is safe for children and also for elderly, which belongs to the most sensitive groups, it's basically safe for everyone, and yeah, we can make rights. So yeah, thank you.
Can you just sit up there? Thank you so much. And now there's a chance for some questions as well. Any questions for Anne? Yeah. Natalie over here.
Hello, thanks to all of you for the nice presentation. I have a question to the 2 presenters from Ghent. You emphasize the difference between functional and fun rights, but for me it wasn't really clear what you mean by functional rights. And do you see functional fun rights all part of your Cycling Without Age mission? And what's your understanding of these rights? Because we don't make any difference on the rights, and maybe, yeah, just to understand.
Yeah, maybe to give a more clear idea, our funding is from the mobility department of the city. So it's a very different kind of approach. So that's why we stress on the social part of the project, because all our funding is through mobility. So for a lot of people, we are a mobility solution. So that's why we do so much functional rights, and that's just from point A to point B. So get people at their front door to the doctor and to do groceries and things like that. That's also fun, but the fun rights we mean is going to the nursing homes and to get people out and just drive them around the city for an hour, or yeah, That's for us the distinction between functional rides and fun rides. Fun rides, we just drive them around the city without a real destination, rather than just bring them back home. Instead of the functional rides, which is really driving them to a different location.
That's why your distance is only about
2 kilometers, yes. Yes, yeah.
I do not like to be envious, but I am actually a bit envious. You seem to have a lot of active pilots. That has been a bit of a challenge for us, and I know I shared with the Finnish girls. I just got an idea from Jane here, who says that when they educate pilots, they also immediately make appointments for the first ride, because we never get to the first ride, because I haven't been smart enough to do that. What do you do to have all these active pilots? It's a question to everybody.
Yeah, so every month we organize an information session for volunteers that are interested to join us. But yes, many times there are 10 to 15 people there, and but we contact them all personally. After the info session, we show them the bikes and everything. And then I contact them personally. Okay, tomorrow, are you free for that day? Can you join some rides? But in the end, only 2 to 3 people from that group will continue. So it is a challenge to find volunteers who keep coming and keep staying enthusiastic. But yeah, we already have a few that already ride with us since the beginning. So for some people, they come daily. They ride daily with us. So it's really important. But it's a big challenge to keep them and also with the retired people, they go on holidays for long periods, 2 to 3 months, and then we lose a few, and then so it goes in waves. Some periods we have many, other periods it's a bit of a tricky to have enough. So yeah, it's a big challenge.
So in our chapter, but it's about in all the chapters in France. When a volunteer wants to enter CWA chapter, we ask them to take a lesson, riding lessons, on a specific trail with a lot of dangers. I mean the width of the tri-show, bumps, holes, sidewalks, entering and going out of a street. We have to be aware also with Code de la route. Okay, all the signs you have on the roads, because we have in France since 20 years now all the law for riding a bike. Signs will just appear after COVID. So we have a small triangle saying that the bikes can turn right or go straight or turn left, even if the red light is on for cars, but not for bikes. It's like in some states in the United States, you can turn right even if the red is light. The light is red, I'm sorry. And usually the lesson lasts about half an hour to 1 hour. It depends on the chapter. Some chapters deliver a notice saying, okay, the volunteer has passed the lesson, it's okay. And while for my chapter in Boulogne, what we ask them is the first time they go out on a tri-show, they never go out by themselves. There is always another tri-show or somebody biking next to it, just in case. But after generally 1 or 2 rides, it's okay. They can go by themselves. But sometimes they are afraid and they ask. This happened once or twice. They ask to go for some more lessons or more rides with other tri-show to get used to it. Because usually we always do the same rides, because the territory is very small and we always do the same rides.
We have all the information how to become a pilot in our website, and also we are cooperating with the Bratislava Volunteering Center. We have also published the offer here, and the first step the future pilot have to do is to register in a Book2Go system, and after this I got the information via email that new pilot is registered, and after that I contact him and agree with the initial training, and yeah, we discuss with all the necessary information, and the training includes also the testing right. We have some recommended routes, we have some manual they become after the training. So yeah, try to do as we best, and yeah, still improving.
Thank you so much. And I actually think this last discussion, this debate about how to retain pilots and how to keep them at it is